Hiya! Happy Wednesday. I was trying to figure out what to do as a demo today, and I believe I have not demoed a wormy pipe. I kind of just made these wormy pipes up, so I'll show you how I make them. Please don't steal my idea completely though. Alright, so I prepped up a chunk of sparkle glass. I purchased this through Colorado Color Company. I also purchased my tubes through Golden Gate Glassworks sometimes. I love both of those companies, but it's a cobalt blue with silver sparkle. Ooh, I found something. So I'm just going to get the whole thing hot first, not burn my hair off. And then I'm going to close the end because it's open right now. So I'll taper it down on this graphite pad, close it, and attach a handle. And just roll it down. The rest. Now one thing I didn't mention with this sparkly glass, I don't want to get it too wicked hot. Sorry, I just put it too quick. Because all those silver sparkles, if you get too hot, they'll just bubble out. They won't be sparkly, they'll just be bubbles, so careful on the heat with these. Alright, now I got a handle, I can start shaping the pipe. So first, I'll taper down right here to the mouthpiece. I realized everything got cold, so I had to heat the whole thing real quick. Now I'm tapering down the mouthpiece. So now I kind of need to section off each part of the worm. So I'm going to do a taper line here and a taper line here, dividing where the mouthpiece, center, and then the bowl will be. After I give the whole thing some heat, it got cold again. Feel free to ask me any questions. I'll answer them when in between steps. There's the taper down for the mouthpiece. Now I'll give a little taper down for the bowl part. And then I know where everything is going to be. Got the mouthpiece, the middle, and then the bowl all sectioned off. Now I'm just going to round out the mouthpiece. And I want to pay attention to how hot it's getting. I don't want to burn that sparkle. Don't burn your sparkle. Nice mouthpiece. If I was making a Sherlock, I would undo this handle, round out the bowl part, and then go for the seg. But since I'm making a worm, I'm gonna go for the seg first. There's no need for me to round out that bowl part yet. That's just how I do it. So I'm gonna seg it, which is the coolest part. Coming now. I'm gonna slash this. And I'm just getting that middle section hot now. Oh, I love glass. Give it a little puff. So that's our little like inchworm shape, or my inchworm shape. And then I just gotta wait till that cools down until I cut off, or until I can cut off that other rod. Alright, now I'm gonna cut this off and round out the bowl. It's so pretty. Gonna take off what I don't want on the final piece. So we've got mouthpieces done. The inchworm back arch is done. I need to squat that down into a round bowl. I don't burn my sponges. I could have definitely got it hotter, but sparkly. Oh, that rounded out really nice. Hey. So yeah, I just made this whole thing up. You can see the wormy now, you know. I'm gonna put some eyes on the very front right there, but you can see the worm shape. And then I flatten this too to make it stand and sit flat. So the bowl will be down here, which is kind of the bummer part. The bowl is underneath when it sits, so once you pack it, you gotta smoke it. Otherwise it's gonna sit sideways. I should design something that will allow your bowl to sit straight up, but I haven't quite done that yet. So speaking of the bowl, I'm gonna pop a hole for where the bowl hole will be. Bowl hole. And then I'm just gonna circle around that hole with the flame and then go to push it with the graphite rod. And I want to switch hands as I'm doing that because the glass is turning into a liquid and I want to keep everything flowing evenly. Give it a little puff. And a push. The hole's a little bit too small, which I rarely have that problem, so that's kind of exciting. So I can show you how to fix it. You take a tungsten pick, get the hole hot, and I like to heat up the pick a little. I'm not sure if you have to, but I do. And then you can circle around and ream it out. If it's too big, you can just blast it in the flame and it'll shrink it. So, ooh, shot ya. That's much, much better. Much better. I was just getting rid of a notification, sorry. So I'm just going around blasting out any kind of weird lines I got from the bowl push. And then I'm just going to round this out again. And then it's time to make a choke. We got a bowl, time for the choke. So I just blast a sharp flame in one spot where I want it to be. I give it a little bit of a circle as I do that. And then I'll puff it out. And then it's more away from where the flame would be in there, so you'll never burn your thumb or your finger, hopefully. And then I'll pop it in a fluffy flame. I want to be careful doing that because sometimes the condensation from your spit in the tube will drip down into there. So sometimes I'll pop it out like this, depending how much condensation I see. I probably should have done that. There was quite a bit. But we're good. People call that the devil's teardrop because it'll crack the shit out of your pipe, and then I don't know. Sometimes you can save it. A lot of the times it's fucked. So I'm just flattening the choke and rounding it out, flattening and rounding it, flattening and rounding it until my OCD is happy. I see a bit of vivification, like a hazy spot. I'm just gonna blast that quick. And then it's time for the eyeballs. So there's no more working neck down. That's too cold now. I mean, if I touch it, it's hot as fuck, but it's too cold to put back in the flame until I reheat it in the annealer. So I'm just focusing on the head now, where I will put the eyeballs for the wormy. I start with white. I have a white rod. Sometimes I like to, not sometimes, all the time, I like to pull out some skinny white and kind of mark where the eyes are going to be so they're more symmetrical before I commit to big blobs of white. So get the face hot. I kind of look at center. And then hold on to your butts. They're a little bit, one's a little higher than the other, but I think it was a decent placement. So I'm going to use those as a guide. And then I'm just going to get a blob at the end of this really nice and hot. You don't want to get white too hot. It'll bubble like a motherfucker. I shouldn't swear. It'll bubble like crazy. So that's kind of why I'm like blah, 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 blah. I'm trying not to burn the white, but at the same time I want to get it really hot. So I got a blob at the end. I got my worm hot. Stick it on, pull it out, wait 2 seconds, and then cut off the end. I like to twirl it off. And then it kind of turns into a triangle when you pull it off, so now I'm just kind of getting rid of that triangle and turning it more into a mountain, a round mountain. So there's one eyeball started. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side where I put that template dot, I guess. My guide dot. So I'm going to try and match the size I did on the other side. Not the easiest to do, but got a blob. Stick it on, pull it off, wait a second, and then cut it off. Do a little twisty twist. That twisty twist is so you don't pull it out and get like a long stringer, like a really skinny piece of glass. Those are no fun. Alright, so And now I'll do the iris, which I picked double amber purple. So I've got just the basic eyeballs going. Here's the shape of the wormy. They'll stand like this. I'm going to flatten the mouthpiece so it'll sit on the table nicely. Do you feel the heat from the flame? Yes. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. Yeah. No, it's fucking hot. It is only... It's 68 in here right now. So normal humans probably wouldn't have a winter hat and a hoodie on. But I've been doing this for 15 years, so not really hot right now. If I was melting down a lot of big stuff, then I would be in a tank top and probably a sweatband. Once it hits like 80, I'll be in my tank. So this is double amber purple. I've used this a lot. It's one of my favorite colors. I'm just going to get the eyeballs a little bit hot so this sticks. And then shove a glob on top. I do both of them before I melt them in, if that makes sense. So both of the irises are now sitting on top. I gotta melt them in. Yeah, the heat of the flame is not as bad actually as the heat if you get something that's really big. If you get the glass hot, the glass actually shoots back more heat at you than the flame does. So if I'm in a tank top blowing really big stuff, that's the way it is. Anyway, I'll get like heat rash sometimes from being in a tank top and blowing big works of glass. Alright, so just circled around, circled around, circled around. One eyeball's a little bit bigger than the other, but that's okay. It's got character. You're not going to be able to see those irises because of the color I used until I blast it back in the flame. Because double amber purple is weird like that. So it's kind of just clear over the white right now. And I'll add the black. Very cool. Thank you. I'm going to add the pupil. Just a little black dot. I like to make the pupils a little bigger than they should be so they kind of look like they're tripping. Pupil. Pupil. So same exact thing as the iris. I just placed a dot on top and then, oh, see the iris? I hit it with the flame. Now it's starting to change color. And now I just have to melt those in. And as I'm melting all this stuff in, I want to make sure I'm not burning the iris or that white. Like I said before, the white is finicky. All white in glass is finicky. I'm going to give them a little shove, give them help to sink in a little more. Oh, I see I burned the white a little. That's okay, I can fix it. You can just like peel a layer of white that you burned off, or I can add more white on top. It'll be A-okay. Alright, so those are melted. Let's go to face. Hey! And depending how I hit the irises in the flame, I can make them change from like amber to purple. And depending how long it sits in the annealer too. So we've got our wormy. The next step, I'll put it in the annealer so it can heat back up. And then I take, this is called a butter knife, and basically I'll get this section hot and go so I have little crease lines down there at the bend. It just looks really nice. And then the very last step, I get this hot and push it on the graphite pad so it sits really nicely. And then it sits down on your shelf as a wormy. So I'll show you my annealer without dropping my phone. So all these other rods are little either starter points or projects I have going already. So that way in the morning I can prep everything, get everything warming up right there, and then as I go, everything's prepped. It makes it faster. All right. Thank you for watching. I'm not going to have a long work a day today, or a long day of work today, because it is sunny outside, I can see. Hasn't been sunny in a minute, so I want to go see the sunshine. I don't think I missed any questions, so I'm going to let you guys go, and thanks for watching. Subscribe. I'll do a giveaway at 2,000 subscribers. Have a great day. Thank you, Vanessa. You too. I appreciate you watching. Hope you guys liked it.